You're going live. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Paranormal Q&A with Jack, Kenna, and
Carly Hall.
that way. I always get that mixed up that way.
You do, but it's okay.
Where you are. That's all. Carly Hall. Nothing too much going on tonight, except Carly may have COVID. We'll find out in
a couple days.
Hopefully. That having to do with somebody who a nurse that she worked with came in to where they were with it and spread it throughout the place. So great for them. Wonderful. So if she has it, then I have it, and my sister has it. So we'll find out. Hopefully know by the end of the week. I haven't seen any signs yet, though. Luckily, it's been actually like, 6 days?
Yeah, about that,
yeah. So I think we're okay. Actually, well, we'll see. We'll think we're okay. But we may have had it before anyway, so I haven't been feeling great, but I don't know. It could be something else, too. Who knows? Anyway. I got some new stuff going on. I got a new phone. I got a new, it looks the same, but it's a new LG phone. I got the V60. I just bought that for myself for Christmas. So thank you, Santa. Carly got some new stuff for her stuff too. One of the things she's talking through right now. So
yeah, that's true.
So I got another extra microphone on the other spare laptop we got, so she doesn't have to drag her stuff back and forth anymore. And she also got new keyboard and new monitor, and she got all that stuff early because of her other streaming stuff she does.
Santa was really nice this year.
Yeah, he was. He was good. He was good too. And we also Santa dropped us off a special surprise tonight. We have a friend who was able to join us. Very, very last minute, because I actually just kind of said, hey, if you're hanging out and you want to be on the show, feel free. Here's a link. So she did join us, and it's our good friend, Candace Weston. And here she is. Hello.
Hi, everybody. What's going on? Good evening, Paranormals. What do you have?
So we just asked Candace to come in today. She's kind of a special last-minute guest, and it's all good. But
I'm currently actually hanging out in OSPHPRC right now by myself.
Yeah. Even better. She's in a haunted. She's coming to you live from a haunted location.
I am indeed.
Absolutely.
We don't know what's going to happen over there. And I'll take a moment just quickly to say hello to all of our friends out there. We have Michelle Millens, Bob Burnell, Barry Martz, Carl Mitchell. And there's Barry and Bob again. Boy, they keep coming in. Tina Fleury, I hope I pronounced that right. Jim Brown, thank you all for coming out. They're coming on, and more people are coming. So yeah, we got some good stuff. We actually expanded our reach too. I've kind of upgraded again on StreamYard, and we're now streaming not just to Facebook, my page. We're streaming to my Facebook public page. We're also streaming to LinkedIn and also to Periscope, Twitter. So we've expanded the reach.
I'm very nervous. I'm really nervous.
Well, whatever. and for people who don't know, Candace is a very good friend of mine who I met, what is it, 3 years ago now? 4 years ago?
Yeah, going on 3 or 4 at this point.
Yeah, that down at Scarefest in Kentucky. That it was the first year I was down there, and some friends of mine, I think it was the first year I was down there, some friends of mine convinced me to go down with them, and that was Stacy Horton and Steve Coles and a few other people. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll go down. And I met this wonderful lady there who has some very unique and very strong psychic abilities. She's able, yes, we're talking about you, Candace. Yeah. She was able to tell me about my stepdaughter. And she didn't know I really had one, but she goes, if somebody's close to you, it's like a daughter or something, but it's not a daughter. And I'm like, she's out. She moved recently. I'm like, yeah, okay. That was all accurate. We got into talking about my stepdaughter, Olivia, who's living out in Colorado right now. She was in California at the time we met. She just moved to California. But she picked up on that little relationship Olivia and I have. I'm her stepdad, but I've always said she's my daughter, and she feels I'm her dad. So we still keep in touch.
I honestly didn't even know what I was like. It was just something that I was told to tell you at that point, and I thought I was walking away looking like a damn fool, to be honest with you. I was like, I don't know if you want to hear this right now, but I totally feel like I need to tell you this. And
you didn't quite say it that way, but.
And it was just, And as I walked away, he was like, well, hold on, come here. And I was like, okay, what? Okay. And yes, it's been the best of since then. So.
And he was like, oh my God, girl, your hair.
Yeah, your hair. So I can fix that.
I need a haircut.
I do too. I just had one actually.
I was going to ask you how that
was left of it. I had cut. Yeah.
So did I.
Don't need none up here, but you know.
Look, I love it when you do that with your hair curly. I do love that.
Gorgeous. Yeah, she went back to her old style. Yeah,
I had half a Britney Spears moment.
Half of Britney Spears.
She only went half cray. The rest is
half cray.
Yeah, it's been good, and you know, Candace and I have been hanging out ever since. We did some stuff at OSPCH. Hope I always get that right. I never get that abbreviation.
OSPRC.
OSPRC. Okay, all right. See, I never get it right. Whatever.
I can't
even hospital down in Tennessee, man. That's where I met her. The hospital down in Tennessee. The non-active hospital. It's active in other ways, but it's not an open hospital. Let's put it that way. It's not functional.
Yes, we are not taking patients or anything right now, but we do have residents, and they are here amongst me right now.
Yeah, they're probably getting their pictures on the show here. They probably don't doubt it. You know?
Man, I tell you what, this whole week it's been way more active. I don't know what's going on right now in the whole supernatural universe, but the building has definitely been alive in the last couple of days. So it's been fun. It's never a dull moment.
Now, you've been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, you've had some stuff going on in your life. A lot of us do have different things going on, but you've kind of settled in back home again, and you've been doing a lot with Old South Pittsburgh down there.
This is home. And
with our other friend, Greg TJ Justice. You can't get a better name than that.
My brother from another mother. Yes.
Yeah. So you're getting all this stuff, but you've had a lot of stuff. Tell me what's been going on down there with you and work and the stuff you're doing at the hospital there, and with the investigations and
with mine personally. Well, the hospital.
Well, I mean the stuff you guys have been doing there. I mean.
Well, Greg actually is working on some cemetery talk situations that I've been helping him do some filming with. And then there's also the Paranormal 3.0 for Autism Speaks that we just this last week talked to Ronnie. We're going to move it from Ashmore Estates down here to OSPHPRC.
Tell them a little bit, Ronnie, because they don't know who Ronnie is. Tell them a little about Ronnie, who Ronnie is. And I know Ronnie, you know Ronnie, but some of these people don't know Ronnie. So
Ronnie is actually the best dude in the planet right now. He took over OSPHPRC whenever it was about to go down and under. And we have worked on this building. Oh God, was it been 3 years ago now at this point? I think is when he bought it out. And we have, taken it from. It was a mess when he got it. And the volunteers and the team that we have here, we have taken it from, we have literally moved out, I think 90 something thousand tons of trash, just things and renovated and trying to take this building back to its former glory and make it a very historical point of this town, because it was a very big staple for this area, plus the Tri-Cities around it. The place itself has so much character and so much residual intelligence. Just so much behind it. Like, this was one of the first places that I ever investigated, when I got into investigating. And I tell people it's made me nose blind to other places, because I walk into other places and I'm like, oh, that's nothing, because I spend a lot of time here and it's never not active here. So it's home. It's home to me. And this place will definitely, if it likes you, it will reel you in, and you can't get away from it. You can't.
Right. That's exactly it. But it's a great place. Now, he picked it up from, if I remember right. And, usually this show is all about answering the questions our fans would come in, and our followers, our friends. But I want them to know about this place, because I was there, and it's a really great place. Now, from what I remember Ronnie telling me, he bought it from the state, correct? Or was it a private? I can't remember, private sale, but I know he had to work with the state to get it up and fixed within a certain period of time. or
There
there's
was
going to be problems, right? But he did it like within a record amount of time.
Oh, he came in and it was one of the places that he had investigated for years beforehand too. And same thing,
Right.
fell in love with the place. So when he found out that it had gone to the wayside and was going to be sold, I think it was something to do with property taxes from the previous owner that it kind of got turned over. And it was one of those places that everybody that knows about this place and has ever been a part of the paranormal or been in this building, we were all devastated if we thought it was going to get demolished and be completely, torn down and annihilated. And thankfully he came in and scooped it up and decided to get it taken care of. So we've been working diligently, but yeah, it was a situation that he Supermaned that and came in like a vengeance for all of us in the paranormal.
And and he's done a great job with it. I mean, he dealt with all these black mold issues and all kinds of stuff. And when I was down there, the last couple of times I was down there, I mean, the first time I went, it was a lot cleaned up. I had never been there before, but from what some friends of mine had told me, been down there, it was a pigsty. And I'm like, no, the walls are clean, the floors are painted, the floors are clean, the walls are painted. There was all this stuff going on. Like, what? We had dead animals and shit laying around no, I said, no, nothing like that. It was on all the floors, nothing like that. And then the next time I was down there, it was even more well cleaned up and repaired. And he was getting some of the plumbing back in order and some of the electricity back in order. And I was in shock. He's really, and all you volunteers, because I know you guys volunteer, have really done a great job putting it all back together. And my point here is, too, for all of our listeners and followers out there, if you get the chance, now I know Tina Fleury said she's going to be down there on Valentine's Day weekend. So she's coming down. I posted that up. This is Tina, and she's going to be down there. But for any of you who haven't been there yet, get down there. Go. I will be going down again next year once this whole COVID thing is over, which I saw today. They're getting ready. They'll have hopefully everybody and all the vaccines out, and everybody can have it if they want it by June.
Yep.
So they're actually moving very quickly, very forward, and should be able to, if you want it, I will be getting it. You'll be able to be vaccinated, and the whole U.S. will be able to be vaccinated by June this year. They just announced all that today. They're moving forward quickly. So life should be getting back to normal by the time June, July rolls around. So that's a good news. That's a great news. But if you get the chance, I will be going back down. Hopefully this year. I know I'll be going down this year because we're going to be doing.
Listen, both
Paranormal 3.0 in August, right? So we'll be doing that. And so I'll be down there for that. So if you guys get a chance, come on down. It's a bit of a drive. You may want to fly. If not, I've driven it. I have driven it. Round trip too.
It's worth your while. Anybody out there, if you can get here, I promise you.
Yeah.
There's never a dull moment here.
Correct. I've had stuff thrown at me.
Yes. We had tile thrown at us. I'll tell you what, I spend a lot of time here by myself, or not by myself, with, doing work and volunteer work and everything else. And even there's not a day that doesn't go by that there's not something that I go, there you go. And then there's that. And then there's that. And you can even ask half of the people that have ever been here, even via day tours and the public events that we do. It's interesting, which I like. I think, like I said, it has ruined me for any other place. Like, I dare someone else to give me a place that I need to go into that is going to supersede this place right here. And I'll take any throw it at me because I want to go. Y'all just let me know.
Yeah. And hey, Ronnie, you deserve those kind words. You've done a great job down there, buddy. Ronnie's here with us. He's in our room tonight. So you deserve those kind of words, and you've done a great job down there. We're looking forward to being part of it. And of course, like we had discussed, Renee, about like when I come down there, who's going to tell me I have to stay with them? Renee is like, Jack, y'all can stay at the Chateau Renee. See, I told you.
She'll be so mad at you if you don't. I'm telling you, she'll never forgive you. She won't.
I know.
Me too, because I love her food.
Well, true. You have had.
I've never met her in person, but I have had her food.
You wait till you get Mama. Mama is Mama. That's she on point.
Yeah. I had her food at her table. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, you didn't leave full. Or I mean, you didn't leave wanting.
Didn't leave full.
You were
No.
stuffed. You were stuffed like a pig. Sorry, I meant the other way around.
Mad at me if I don't eat or
You left
yeah.
stuffed.
That's
Yeah, you didn't leave hungry, is what I meant to say. You did not leave hungry. So yeah, but it's a great place and good time. Lots of good stuff going on. So we've had all this stuff. We're gonna be down there. We're gonna be doing stuff. We're gonna be doing a lot more this year too. I know Greg's gonna be doing stuff up this way.
yes.
I'm pretty sure of that now because I know him and my friend. Oh my God, my mind just went blank.
Ellen.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, they've been talking.
Ellen?
No, oh my God, we were just at the Hinsdale house. Oh my God. my mind-
Oh, Michelle.
No, not Michelle.
Oh,
Oh my God, my mind just totally went.
You're
I don't
turning
know
into
on here
wait,
tonight.
you mean Dan? Are you talking about Dan? The Hinsdale house?
Daniel Clays. Daniel Class.
Jeez,
Oh, okay.
wow, dude.
Dan.
Wow.
My mind just blanked right out there. Boy, I'm glad. I
No,
hope
I
he's not
think,
watching.
I think it flatlined. Like that's just straight up flatlined.
Whew, that's what happened to me just then. My whole mind just went.
Don't feel bad. It happens to me all the time. All the time.
Yeah,
I-
but Greg, I did get Greg and Dan connected on Facebook. I know they've been talking, and I know he's been able. I think they've been able to work out to get Greg somebody who can help him up here, who has a lot of experience with running events up this way, that can help him manage stuff because he's not always going to be able to be up here while doing the events. But I know we're going to be doing some stuff with Greg this year up this way in New York. So that's a big plus. You know,
It finally gives me an excuse to go that north of the Mason-Dixon line and actually get up there and see y'all and stuff on y'all's territory for once.
yeah, we'll have to check on things for him. See that we're doing well for him up there. Keep Kenna in line.
Carly, I can't wait to see you and actually give you a hug for the first time in person. Like that's going to be awesome.
I know. I think it's funny how we were going to like hang out and meet in person for the first time and the world ended.
It did. The second that we were going to get in cahoots with each other, all of us actually hanging out, it was like the apocalypse happened. Thank you, COVID. Fuck yeah, 2020 can, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, 2020. What 2020 what? 20? Did you guys
No
see
more.
the commercial?
2020 didn't happen.
In 2020?
Can we restart 2020? Like turn off the
No,
computer?
no, in 2020. New one.
No, I meant like new. No, like it's bad. Let's just forget about it and redo it.
Did you guys see they put out a commercial with Satan and 2020? A girl who's 2020. She says, "Call me 2020," and they meet online and stuff, and then the world's falling apart around them. I don't know what the hell the commercial was about, but it was hilarious.
That's pretty much an exact representation as to what has gone down.
Yeah, at the end, Satan's like, they're sitting on a bench together watching the world fall apart, and he goes, "I wish this year would never end."
There's only one very small child that was only born about like maybe a month ago that says, "This is the best year ever." Honey, you haven't spent that much time.
Yeah, best year ever. I guess it depends on your point of view, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, somebody had a Barry had a question for us. I wanted to put up there. I had a question about the chat for this location. What? Location confirmation tonight. What? I don't know what you mean, Barry.
Hang on one sec.
What are we confirming on?
Is it the other question about the location where Candace is? I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Yeah, like where?
Oh, tell him again where you're at.
So is the old Pittsburgh South Hospital in Tennessee that Candace is at right now? I wasn't catching all that was mentioned in the beginning. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So Barry knows where we are now. Okay.
OSPHPRC. It's an amazing spot, and a lot of our volunteers. And let me give a shout out to them. We are here for investigative purposes and for teaching purposes, and we test ourselves and go through a lot of things. A lot of people want to say we debunk or try to debunk ourselves, and this is for research purposes, and we like to show people what we do in the paranormal. A lot of people think that we're weird because we all sit in dark hallways for hours upon hours on end. But once you come down here and we show you what we do, and you actually get that validated point and see the things that why we do this, it's one of those things where you will get hooked and you are stuck. Like you are totally stuck, and you'll be doing this with us and looking like weirdos for us for the rest of your life. That's just what we do.
Bob Purnell says my audio is screwed up. Can anybody hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I wonder if it's because, you know what it could be? I'm going to hold on a second. It could be coming through on him because I don't have the sound coming through my Bluetooth. So hang on a second, folks. Let me see if I can fix that. It's just coming through. So when you guys are talking, it's probably picking it up on my microphone too. So bear with me just a second. You guys can keep talking. It's okay. Candace, you probably can keep talking.
So are we going to make
whatever you want.
stuff levitate and shit?
Well,
Hang out, probably.
You know, I'm kind of worried because the second that we do get all in, like, it's going to be a human portal type situation, and the world might explode. You know, it might happen. It just might. Just y'all be prepared. Everybody be prepared.
Awesome. I can't wait.
No, I'm excited for you to get down on this side of my world so you can come see what it is that I do, because I think that you're going to be really super stoked about what we do.
One experiment I do want to try out, though, is in the ORs. Since I am a surgical tech, I'm wondering if I could bring, like, some gowns and stuff, like, because sometimes things get contaminated and we get to, like, bring stuff home. So I want to bring some, like, surgical gowns and gloves and stuff. And
bring it on.
Like, spark some.
Hey
stuff
Barry,
up.
let me know if that fixed the problem. I've got it my headset on Bluetooth now, so it's not coming through the computer anymore.
An experiment like that, and down in the ER when we do, and we try to mess it up as much as we possibly can, because it usually gets our doctors that are residents here, that it angers them and our nurses. So usually,
definitely the nurses.
We break it up, and you can tell they that's when you start. We'll shut it down, like after about 10 minutes. Everybody role playing and completely messing up this whole emergency operating.
God, they must be
and
like,
then
what are you doing?
And you can hear the building gets so active where you can hear running up and down the halls, and the EVPs. I mean, like Class A EVPs, like cussing at us, telling us that you're messing this up. I mean, there's so many things that we've gotten. I'm like, man, like they don't play. They don't mess. They will tell you exactly how they feel about you right here. They will.
So I can't wait. Can we go tomorrow?
Can if you want to.
Really? Come on.
But you know, you could have COVID, so you know
man.
May want to wait till you get cleared from that. Yeah.
I got my brain tickled the other day.
When did you? Okay, what?
Yesterday.
How did this transpire? I thought y'all been locked up in the house, anyways. What is going on here? Look, I need a haircut. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So
Carly's been working. So what have you been doing?
We had some people come in who were positive, and they got it from the outside because they were not responsible and did not wear their masks. I'm not going to name names. They spread it to each other because they were all hanging out. They came to work and exposed it to everybody at work, including me. And I was not happy considering the circumstances of where I live, and I really don't appreciate that. That being said, that's like a whole other thing that's going on right now. But I had to get tested because if we do have COVID over here, then I'm worried about, the person with lung cancer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was put into a tough situation that was completely out of my hands.
Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to say that is not what's going on, and therefore we're going to put positive thoughts out there and not even think about that, because that's not going to happen. None of those things are going to happen. That's where we're at.
Yeah. I think we did dodge a bullet again. Because this happened before, too. This happened one other time, too, with doctors over there. So,
yeah,
I think we dodged a bullet. I've still been feeling okay. I mean, I felt a little off for a couple of days, but
listen,
I had a cold before, so it may have been that, too. So,
only
but so far, we both seem okay. So,
only the good die young. So, we're all going to be around for a long time.
I should have died 20 years ago then.
Oh, my gosh. You know what probably happened?
If that's true, Carly should be dead already.
I should have been dead a really long time ago.
You can't get any better than her. I mean, Jesus.
No, I'm not good. I'm just
a really long time.
I'll live
I'm
to
not-
be 200. Oh,
I'm not good. I'm just naive, okay? I
Counts.
can't help it. I
Counts.
just don't know better.
So what's been
Yeah.
going on with y'all? Like what's so besides all this COVID mess? Like didn't y'all just y'all just went and did an investigation like recently, right?
Not me. Jack went to Hinsdale. I had to stay home.
Yeah.
You didn't get to go? Oh.
No.
Ooh.
Because she couldn't leave because we had gone to my son's birthday party.
Yeah.
In a way, the next one might be somebody's birthday party. He got married. So she went down for that. So when she came back, even though she had tested negative and all that, she had come back and tested the before, but tested after. She came back, tested negative. She had to still like quarantine for like what, 10 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. She could go back and forth to work, but she couldn't go anyplace else.
I tell you what, though, her game page, what is it? It's
This fruitcake too.
yes. Okay, listen. It was like watching a movie, watching her play. What was the game that I watched that you played?
Destiny 2.
Yes. Okay, so if anybody out there is a gamer and y'all get the opportunity to, please do watch her because it's really cool. I've never been a gamer myself, and yeah, I was kind of enthralled for a couple hours as I was trying to go to bed and I couldn't go to sleep. So that tells you how much I was actually enthralled by this. And I'm yelling like a football game when I watch the Cowboys. I'm like, no, Carly, to the left behind you. And of course she can't hear me, but
Right.
yeah. So well played.
Well played.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did.
I watch her once in a while too. I'm usually doing other stuff, but I watch her once in a while. I just don't tell her I am. Then I'll just throw a message up and go, "I love you, fruitcake."
You ignore me for hours on end.
I'll be over here.
I won't lie though. Like for real, I have actually created a Twitch community called the Fruity Fam.
She has, yeah.
I have, yeah. And as of today, like I didn't actually click until today when they were messaging me. I had like 5 people pop up and they were like, "Oh my God, you're back." And they were like, "Okay, we got plans for your future. Like you're going to make clans. These are the games that we'd want you to play. We're going to make you famous." I'm like, "Whoa, wait, hang on. First of all, I don't want to be famous. I just want to build a community and hang out with you guys." So I'm like, if you guys want to like bring people into the community, like, that's fine. They're like, no, we're going to make sure you can do this full time. I was like, oh.
Bruh, I support you a million.
So that made my day. That made my whole year. Like, that made 2020 worth it. I mean, besides this guy. But,
oh, wait. See, I do it too. I can't do it. Okay, there it goes.
But yeah, no.
I know she's on that side of me now. I remember that she's.
Well, when are we actually all collectively going to get together? Since we are actually the founding ICU Paranormal team, right here.
Yes, that's another thing, right? ICU Paranormal.
Yeah,
that's right. Like, that's another thing we haven't really talked about. Yeah, Candace is the founder of ICU Paranormal. And in case you don't know, just think of the abbreviation. Think of the letters ICUP.
I had to put my funny on it, but it is. Listen,
I love it. I love it. Her team is ICUP,
Collective of the Unseen Paranormal, which is something, and I deal with. I deal with one side more, but there are 3 sides of paranormal that I try to tap into all 3 sides because I personally think they're all connected, which ties into the team that Jack so graciously asked me to put together. He told me I needed to put together a team. He wanted me to put one together that we could all work in together, which I was not going to be a part of the paranormal anymore. But thank you for doing that because it was meant to be. Be my team.
Part of who you are, it's part of your life now. You can't walk away from that.
Well, and it's one of those things where I didn't realize what I was supposed to do was be a network amongst teams. We're a team amongst teams is what we do, and
exactly.
We all collectively work together as a whole because there might be some teams or some places that I cannot get to or am not specialized in that I have a connection with other teams that can and do the things that you need. And that was kind of my whole premise behind it. because I don't like the whole everybody, my team is bigger, better than yours, and we know how to do. There's not a single team on here that knows in the paranormal world that has 100% of the answers or knows how to
Correct.
do everything 100% for every situation, because we don't have all the answers to the science that's behind what we do yet. We just don't.
Right. Right.
So working together as a whole is the biggest reason as to why I feel like that's what we're supposed to do. We're all supposed to be one big, happy, loving family. Yay.
I mean, probably never will be, but we can all work together.
We're gonna lead by example, though. You know what I mean?
well, we can all definitely work together without any ego. That can happen.
You just have to do it.
It's just like any other, scientific engineering organization, whatever you want to call it. They all eventually, they may have their egos and stuff, but there's times they set it all aside to work together for a common cause, just like, the vaccine for COVID. Oh, look at that,
Oh my
Nobody ever
gosh.
thought that could happen either, but there again, it did, didn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
in a record time. So there you go. And that's bigger than the paranormal. So don't tell me we can't do it.
Very true.
Very true. So there you go. If any of you guys out there tonight do have a question for us about anything, especially Candace, because she has some very interesting insights in different things, whether you want to know something about shadow figures or psychic abilities or anything like that. She has her whole other view on it. It's a great time to ask. She's a great person to ask. So if you guys do have any questions, throw them out there. I'm looking. I'm watching.
I do have my theories on a lot of. I do a lot of research. I yes, Renee, yes. Like I study every aspect of just about everything I can get my hands on, and it's never ending. So, like I said, I'm no expert in any way, shape, or form, but
you did a lot of study on jinns, though, didn't you?
Yes, that was more via my wife. She was the kind of one that introduced me to that, and she's the one that got me down the rabbit hole of learning and researching a lot of the ancient ancestor, like old school magic, jinns, cryptids. Like it goes on for. It is a rabbit hole. There's no doubt about it. It's a rabbit hole. Yeah,
but you need to. What I always have done is, when I've come across something I think is something different or potentially something else, that's when I begin to do the research into that, or reach out to somebody who is a specialist in it to help me figure out, is that really what I'm dealing with, or is it potentially something else? But you've researched a lot. You told me you researched a lot on jinns. What is your take on the jinn?
It's an ancient. This
goes way back. I mean, it goes, but you're talking Middle Eastern countries.
Theoretically, this is my theory. If you really want to get into it, it goes beyond. It goes universal. It's bigger than this planet. It's something that supersedes some people. Oh God, man! See, that's a long conversation. I'm trying to
give me the short of it. Where did they supposedly originate from? Tell me at least that much.
They are ancestral from. Oh God! See, now you got me all tongue tied. See, I didn't know we were going to go into this.
Just tell me what you can remember.
If you go back to if you believe, see, I don't want to like confront anybody's religion or anything like that.
No, we do that here. So stop it. Okay. Tell me what I asked. This is what we do. We open up the road here. We try to answer people's questions. We give out our own theories and our own ideas based on things we've experienced and researched. So all we're asking for is your understanding of where did they originate from.
There's jinns and there's dejinns, and it depends on what culture you come from, because you can have them in several different areas. These things are ancestral beings that were here before Greek mythology. They're things that actually
they're at the beginning.
They are God. If you look at some other people's the way it's prefaced, they were the things that put the things here into play, into motion. All the ancient magic. If you believe in cryptids, egregors, things like that. Jinns are things that were kind of the the beginning of those things or their predecessors. They are what super.
Does that come out of the Islamic religions?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. No,
But
I have a lot of respect for that. I just want to understand it a little bit
there's
better
also
myself.
in the Asian culture too, because if you look at it,
Okay,
there's
yes, that's right.
So
yeah.
it depends on which one you're looking at. See,
Okay.
I'm tongue tied right now because I'm nervous when I talk about this stuff.
No, you don't need to be in it. This show is what this is about. Okay, it's sharing knowledge, sharing information.
There are people that do say that they have their own gens that attach to them. So you can also look at it as in it's your spirit guide.
Yes. Okay.
Depending on how you view these things, because a lot of people, like I might call that a tree and you might call it a road, but at the end of the day, that energy or that thing is still there. It is what it is. So if you go old school and back ancient, the gens are what some people might call spirit guides. Some people might call their God. Some people might call their ancestry influence, or however their guidance is on certain things.
And Bill mentioned that, and I didn't know that until just now. But Bill's been around, so I trust what Bill says there. Place in the Middle East where if you mention them, they want to kill you.
They want to kill you.
People want to kill you if you mention them over there.
Well,
because it is in some of those places something very negative, something very evil. But you shouldn't mention them at all, because that's like calling on them. I know where he's coming from with that. So
it's kind of one of those things where I know several people that have their gens, and they know that those are their gens, that's their attachment. That's their.
It's a different insight onto them. Yeah.
So it really just depends on how you feel about certain things as to where you go with it. And that goes back into the whole, whenever I do cases for certain people and they need a cleansing or they have an issue with something, I always try to study up on what their belief system is, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help them get through, and me understanding what it is that they're surrounded by. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Carl brought this up. In Arabian and Muslim mythology, an intelligent spirit of lower rank than the angels, able to appear in human and animal forms and to possess humans. So
yes,
Carl's a pretty smart guy too. So I trust different facts he comes up with. He'd be a great guy for one of those shows where they like
Carl. Yes.
Yeah. He's a very intelligent guy.
A gen basically can be anything, and if you really study back into it, it goes back to ancient mythology and everything else. But it can be a cryptid, it can be it can basically it can morph into anything theoretically if you believe in gens. They can be demonic if you want to believe in that, like the negative spirits, like whatever you want to call them. Like they can take a form of as to whatever it is that you want to perceive them to be. Is what my studies have taught me.
Right. And PJ Willis makes a comment here about gens must be worldly, can't just be Eastern. We're not saying they're just Eastern, but that's kind of where they originated from.
In what he says,
some linked to poltergeists, some good and some not so. They are meant to have family structures, but they don't have a body, like subspecies. Okay. Very good.
And this is my point, PJ. It's one of those things where I might call this a tree and you might call it a road, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's the energy that's still there. Some people, like, if you look at Lao and Laotian cultures, it's good or bad. There's no in between. Right. There's no cryptids. There's no this. There's no that. And like, oh, it's there, and we don't like it. Get rid of it. If it's good, you don't hear about it. Yeah. So it's one of those.
You see what we just did, though.
We like
what we just did. We opened up a conversation about it.
Yeah, we did.
That's what this show is about.
You'll never get me to shut up once I get rolling, though.
That's okay. We do have a question for you, though. We do have a question from Barry Martz for you, unrelated to gens. It says, it was a few years ago when Tennessee Wraith Chasers were at the OSPH Ghost Asylum, and asking if you were there when they were there investigating. If so, what was it like to wipe with them there? In other words, what was it like to meet them?
I was actually not there for that event. I had worked with them beforehand a couple of times. I worked with them at Ashmore Estates several years back, and then I also worked with them at Hell's Bar Dam. I just was not able to make it to the OSPH event. I I was out of town working on.
So what was it like? I think Barry's question really is getting at is what was it like to work with them? What were those guys like to?
Those guys
be
are
with
awesome.
and hang around?
They're stellar. Doogie and Brennan are two of my, they're my faves. Mike and Chris, they're cut ups and they're really fun to hang out with. I did not work with Porter. He wasn't around whenever we did anything with them. But the guys they're fun. Like they're all personalities, that's for sure. And they're
I know Doogie and Porter better than Mike and Chris. But they're all good guys. I mean, Porter's pretty cool because actually Porter and I, it turned out, I met him at Ocean State Paracon the last time they had it, and or second before the last time they had it. It turns out we both have the same educational background. We were both engineering technicians.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. He doesn't do that anymore, but he used to work in different industries and stuff. I mean, but so we got talking about it. We got talking about that, and we got talking about how he got into doing the paranormal stuff. And he was asked by Chris to kind of become part of the team and get on the team and stuff.
I was going to ask, what is his story? So, did he have paranormal experience? Like,
yeah, he did. He was interested. He was always interested in this, but he knew Chris for quite a while. And then when they got the show, I guess there was somebody else who had been on the YouTube show before. He came in later on, so that guy left and Chris asked him to join, and that's how he ended up on the team. But they knew each other for a while, and he was just always working down there in Tennessee and stuff because he's from Tennessee, right? Well, they all are, right? So
yeah,
I mean,
I think the vast majority.
I don't know if they live there anymore. They all live there anymore, but I know they all are. Yeah. And then Doogie is an awesome guy. Doogie is I love Doogie. He carried my bags for me one day. So.
Did he? Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, we were in Plymouth at Plymouth Paracon one year, and actually it was the first year they had it, and we're leaving. Everybody's getting ready to leave. It's the end of the thing, and he sees me coming out with this big heavy bag. He goes, "Hey Jack, let me get that for you." And he grabs it, drags it over my car, and he throws it in the back of the trunk for me. He goes, "There you go." I said, "I'm taking you wherever I go from now on. That's it. You can be my baggage guy." The damn thing was like 50 pounds. For me, it's heavy, right? He just picked it up and threw it in the back of my car. That was a Charger. That was a Charger at the time.
Don't you talk about my car. That's my car.
Yeah. Wow. You got to fight that out with my kids still. You know?
Every time. Time to go. Here you go.
Remember, possession is 9/10 of the law, and he has it.
Man, and I can't fight your son on that one.
No, you can't. It's hard to.
No, but and you know, even with Brennan, like he's so dedicated. Like it's one of those situations where when we were at the dam, we had the guys kind of separated up on different floors so that we had tours that we're running through. Well, Brennan was down in the tunnels, and he likes his equipment, and he wants to capture everything. Well, everybody else is going and getting food, and there's nobody in there. We can't find him. So I go rolling in there and I'm like, what are you doing down here all by yourself? Now, first off, I would not be standing where he was at all by myself. Wouldn't do it. Would never do it. And he's like, you know, he's tweaking his equipment and everything else. I was like, yeah, eat. You're so sweet. I love him. So no, the guys are really cool. I enjoyed working with them every time I've gotten the opportunity to do so.
Yep. Renee's got to jump off. She says, love you all. Candace, stop by before you leave. And Jack and Carly, look forward to seeing us in the air. Yes, you too, Renee. Thanks for stopping in, Renee. We love you, and we will be down to see you. Don't worry. And let's see. There was something back to the gins PJ brought up. I did, because he wrote this out, so I did want to bring it up. If you bring in the gin into a conversation, spirits do bring concept into the conversation. I've had voices come through saying they're jinn. I truly do not. I truly think not all we communicate with are human or dead. All right, some put in a heavy lamb of a human end of things. Well, it's true, but I always say you've got to be. It was asked to me once on Haunted Case Files, what do you fear the most about the paranormal? And I did say it's because you never know really what you're talking to.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Or what you're dealing with. You really don't. I mean, it could tell you it's anything.
Yes.
And so PJ brings up a good point. They can tell you they're anything. But you really don't know. It takes time to figure that out.
Yes.
That's why I don't like some people who say they can figure out what's haunting your house within a couple hours just by their equipment and what they get with it. It's like, good luck with that.
It's
Good luck
not.
with that. That means you're trusting what they're telling you,
Yep.
and you can't trust what they're
I
telling
have yet to meet a single psychic medium or anybody that's the best medium on the planet that will walk into a place, and if you're having an issue, and the legit ones, and be like, oh, it's this, it's your dead grandmother, or it's the no, because it takes time. It takes time
It
to
does.
figure out, especially if you're dealing with elementals or anything else like that. You can't.
Yeah, because
It's
things
not.
can pretend to be, especially something really dark, can pretend to be something that's not.
Exactly. And when we
You
have
know?
client cases,
And that's
I've
not
had
always the case, but
Yeah.
you know.
when
Go
we
ahead,
have
Carly. Sorry.
when we have client cases, like I'll be sitting there just kind of like feeling the area out, and I can't tell you how many times the clients have been like, what are you feeling right now? I'm like, I'm still getting used to the energy of your house. Like, you've lived here for years. I've just come here. Like, I need to filter things out and figure out what exactly I'm feeling, because it's a mix of your stuff and whatever's here. So I need time. Like, it might take a couple visits, because
Well,
every visit's different. But
them themselves too. You have to figure
Yeah.
out what's being haunted, the area, the house, or the people themselves, and then you have to approach it from that aspect. So it's very, very difficult to go through this the psychology aspect of everything when you have to do those kind of cases to figure out exactly where it's coming from and what it's bouncing off of, to be able to properly approach it.
And everything has its own energetic signature, is what I like to call it, like an energetic footprint. Like, no place is the same because they're all different people. So it's not like I can go from one location to the other and go, I've felt this before, because I can guarantee you haven't, unless you're dealing with the same exact entity.
And that is very few and far between.
Yeah.
You're 100%.
Yeah, I would say somebody who's really in tune with, has done a lot of investigations, done a lot of stuff, and is in tune with certain type of energies. You can get a feeling for what type of energy you potentially are dealing with, but that takes time to figure out. You can't do it after 2 investigations. I'll tell you that.
No,
it takes a long time.
You have to look at it like this too. It's not like you're going to go into a bar here, like amongst the living. If you go into a bar or you go into a place, you're not going to meet the same people or the same. You're not going to meet the doppelganger twin of anybody if you're in Chicago and you go to New York. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
Too many people have this preconceived notion that every haunt is the same in every place, and that's not the case, because these entities, especially if they are intelligent haunts, things that are there still imprinted, they have their own personality just like we do as a person.
Yeah.
And they may or may not talk to you, or they may or may not like you, or they may like you too much. That's just how you have to approach the whole paranormal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I do like to use to feel out energies with is divining rods.
Yeah.
And just the pure copper ones, with the copper handles, not the ones that have the wooden handles. I like that direct connect, because you can feel that energy flow through you. So you're kind of like allowing that energy to come through, and you can tell when something's BSing you.
Yeah.
You really can. It's just like talking to a person for a period of time, and you can tell that person's so full of shit.
See,
technically, it's the same
but
thing.
But you can feel that energy out and tell if it's being honest with you. I won't say you can always tell whether it's positive or negative, but you can tell if something's off or if something seems okay.
It's kind of like the human pendulum. Have y'all ever done that experiment?
No, never tried that. No.
What's that?
It's basically, how when you have a pendulum and it goes back and forth and gives you yes or no's when you hold the stone. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If you can do it with an actual human, an individual, and what you do is you have them in the middle and basically utilize them as the pendulum.
You like push them and hold them, and they
they do it on their cord. So if when you open up the circle and they have people standing on all 4 sides of them, you let the spirits know, that they can come in, only one, it has to be positive, and that they can utilize this person to what's your yes or no answer, and whichever way that their bodies tend to waver, it's kind of the same as, when you your pendulums, like dowsing rods, kind of work too.
Ooh, so it would work better if you put a rope around their neck and then pull them up off over a rafter.
See, that's
where they swung.
That's where you catch a case, Jack. We don't know.
I'm just saying.
You have
it would work better if you're strung from a rope.
No, I knew he was.
I suppose you could do their
that.
feet and hang them upside down.
That's a whole different show and a whole different. No, okay, listen. That's
I'm just talking about. No, I'm not being like that about. I'm just saying.
That show is called News.
You could like tie it around their feet then and pull them up and let them see which way they swing.
Man was discovered.
It was a thought.
Man was discovered creating human pendulum with actual human beings.
Well, they said use them as a pendulum. I don't.
Live at 5.
My pendulum I hang from a string, so I mean,
That's like going to be next to the world's largest.
It'd be hard to carry around with you, though. Kind of heavy. Might have to use kids. They're smaller.
So, okay. Kind of this push and pull feeling behind them, and so many people that we've had that
I got an idea for a whole new horror story. Hang on. We'll call it the human pendulum.
See, I'm the lightest out of all of you, so this is not looking good for me.
I'm gonna add that story to my new book I'm working on. I'm gonna call it the human pendulum.
I'm the lightest out of everybody, so this is not looking good for me.
Oh, wall. I got you. Oh, what just happened? Might be time to shut it down. This is bad. This is getting really bad.
I'm not a good candidate. No. I trip on air, okay?
Don't use Carly as a pendulum. She'll just fall right over when you push on her. She'll just go right down.
Like, well, that got dark fast. What just happened?
Hope the spirits behind her are laughing. Yeah. Tomorrow you're going to find Candace hung upside down in the hospital. Just
look, if y'all find me like that, they're going to come after you first.
I'm in a whole nother state. I couldn't make it. Alibi. Maybe if they find you 10 days later, I might be able to claim you for it. But,
what's that smell that's coming from that closet?
Candace hung upside down.
Oh God! Now she's a part of the hospital for forever.
Forever. Candace, are you here? Who killed you? Jack.
Listen, I will haunt the shit out of every single one of y'all, and none of you will ever sleep. I'm just saying.
Between you and Jack, I'm screwed.
Man. I really did disturb you on that whole thing. But anyway, so tell me again, because I really wasn't listening. How do you use a person as a pendulum?
Nikki did it.
My mind went off. It went off in another direction.
Nikki Wharf Edge put a comment that was a good description.
They're in the middle, and they have a focal point. And their feet are on the ground still. Well, I thought it just worked better if you hung them from a string.
You don't actually hang them.
You know what makes sense? Yeah, I can actually connect that with the way that I ground sometimes, because I like grounding standing up, because that's how I know I'm properly grounded is I will stop swaying.
Have you ever entered a place and kind of had like not a vortex feel, but something like a push and feel, like a push or pull feeling on it, like if you're getting pushed or pulled, and it's kind of the same.
I have. Yeah, I actually have had that. Yeah.
And when we ask the entity that wants to speak through this person, it's like, show me your yes, or what's your yes answer, and naturally the person, we tell them not to lock their legs, and whichever way they fall. Is their yes, and then okay, show me your no answer, and if they can go either way. And so theoretically, it's supposed to yes or no questions. The person themselves kind of answer what the spirit, the entity that's speaking through them would answer to. Now, I have had people that say that it's the craziest feeling that they've ever felt, because they really do feel like they're pushed or pulled.
Hey, you know what? I mean, and kind of being serious, so couldn't you remember those Weebles? The Weebles wobbles, but they don't fall down?
Yeah, I am one.
Couldn't you like use one of those things for what you're talking about?
Maybe.
And remember the bigger, now don't take this the wrong way.
No, I'm going to do it now.
One of the blow up things they used to have that had the sand in the bottom? And it's like a punching doll. I didn't want to say blow up doll, because that's a whole other thing.
I used to have one.
Remember though, you could use that. You could use one of those.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those like wavy things.
They just flop all over. It doesn't matter. Wave just to the right.
This is a serious situation, guys. Stop it.
Can have yeah, with the air thing underneath the end. You can say,
Next
if
thing
the
you know, it
spirit's
just
here,
leans
just have
over.
it wave just to the right. It'll wave just
Next
to the
thing
right.
you know, it just leans over toward Kansas, or smacking her in the face.
Slapping you. Wah, 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 wah. That's it. That's the spirit doing it.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, so
Barry says new version of tackle football without the football. There you go.
Down. It's a paranormal football game.
Para football.
Yes. If you get hit in the face, it's not my fault.
Oh, here's an interesting question. I may get PJ in trouble for this one. Or he may get himself in trouble. Yeah, that's gonna. But is it right? A larger amount of women are affected by possessions. Heard it's mostly to that and due to dark spirits looking toward the unborn. You heard that? No, I have heard that. I don't know if that's absolutely true. I mean, the very first possession case most of us ever heard of was really the one that the movie The Exorcist was based on, but that actually was a boy, not a girl. In the movie, it was a girl, but in actuality, it was a boy.
Yeah.
Is that true? I don't know. I think it's more. It depends on the individual. What I understand is that demonics just tend to look for the weaker individual, whether it's a male or female or whatever. Weaker spiritually is what we're talking about.
Well, and I also
or a broken individual, somebody whose life has been kind of really bad and they're broken down from it, and so maybe that happens more to women because more women are abused than men are.
I think women are just more apt and innate to actually say when they're feeling messed up, and guys will fight it more generally. I mean, but guys will not necessarily go like, I'm feeling so messed up right now, and start wigging out. You know what I mean? Like they'll go hide in the corner. Most of them that I know, and women, like we don't care. Like you piss us off, especially around the time of the month. That's possession right there. So yeah, women are more innate to be possessed, especially monthly, once a month, especially. So watch yourself.
But yeah, I don't. Yeah, and I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's true though. I don't know. It happens more to women than I don't think anybody ever took that count.
Well,
so
if you think about history and hormones and science, I mean, when it comes to depression and trauma, women are more generally susceptible to trauma and abusive relationships and abusive situations. So they are more likely to be the victim rather than men. I mean, I'm not saying men aren't victims, but the majority tend to be women, especially throughout history. So I think that the demonics choosing the weaker link would be smart to choose a woman, not only because they would a lot of trauma that they've been exposed to throughout their life, but also they hold children. They are the womb. They create life. Their bodies create life. So you're able to connect to the next born. As like he's saying, you're able to connect to the unborn. I think there's a lot of connections that you have to put together. Like it's not just one answer.
And demons are still pretty ticked off at Mary for giving birth to Christ. So it could be that too. So
that's valid.
That is true though. That is actually true. They hate her. That's why they hate the prayer to her. Actually, that prayer, the Hail Mary, is used in every exorcism now that the church does, because it's one of the strongest prayers they can use.
Possessions in any religion, you know what I mean? Like
you can. I'm just saying, with their particular religion, they use it because it is one of the strongest prayers they have. Yeah, I'm not talking about others. I'm just talking about that one. Yeah, because every religion has different prayers they use. So.
Yeah. That's I'm actually curious, and that is now another wormhole that I'll wind up diving into to see how many possessions, if there. But you have a very
have to do documented possessions, because you also have to.
Those are hard to find because
demonics do not like to be found, and I think that there are more possessions than there are documented. You know what I mean? Like
because some religions don't even document them.
The aspect. When you say it like that, then I would probably venture to say that logistically, it probably is more females than males that probably do get,
especially in different cultures, because some countries women don't have rights, so, and they're not even heard. So they may be having all these issues and not be able to get the help that they need. Do you know?
True. That is true about some other cultures. Yes.
I didn't think about that.
Which goes to play into Japan as well.
See, we have to think about other cultures and other things because they're not approach things the same way we in America do. So it's a whole nother realm. It's a whole nother realm.
But we'll never know until we get to the other side. These are all hypotheses. All
this is why we do these paranormal roundtables that we're doing right now here amongst us now.
We mind meld with our ideas and theories.
But yeah, no, that's a very valid point. Yeah, I hadn't even really put it in that aspect. So yeah, good question. Oh, who was that? PJ? Good.
Yeah, PJ. Yeah. See, this is why I like this whole forum. Like, people bring up things that start a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Keep us thinking.
Valid, bro. Appreciate that one. Yeah. That's got me working on some other stuff now.
Yeah. And Barry, yes, it was based on a boy out of Illinois, actually, who was possessed. And it was a boy that The Exorcist was based on, the movie The Exorcist was based on. I see. Bob Burnell. Well, is it possible that they can travel through time and they attack people to try to change the future by causing family problems, etc.? Boy, that's science fiction-y for me, Bob. I don't know that demonics are bound to time.
I don't think there is time.
About demonic or who?
I thought time
that's
was
kind
more
of what he's
human.
talking about. Yeah, because we were talking about that, so he's talking about that.
Well, that's a whole nother wormhole too. Because if you, oh man,
we don't know. I mean, the answer to that really is we don't know. I mean, we do know that time, space, whatever, has no meaning to some of these types of non-human entities.
I will say from personal experience, though, and I still am experiencing some things that kind of freak me out a little bit, like they're gone, but things are popping up in my life that I've already experienced in the past that they have brought up. So they knew that I would be experiencing things in the future and have brought that to the past to scare me. They use that against me. So I'll sit there and experience it now and be like, wow, I would have been terrified of that, but I already experienced it. You know what I mean?
So there's a theory. Okay, so there's a theory that time is infinite and it just continues on. It spirals. Basically, a infinity figure eight situation. Now, if it overlaps, now here's the bigger question: are we haunting ourselves, or are things actually haunting us? Because I've had so many cases and so many places and things I've done where on EVPs and situations where I've actually heard conversations that have already happened or happen later on. I mean, on a recording of friends of mine that work in the same field and that are not there at the time, that are talking about certain situations that transpire later on.
Well, it's possible you're picking, depending on where you're investigating, you'll be picking up on an opening in time. I mean, that has happened.
Or is it an overlap of time? Is it where the time is actually like?
Well, it's happened both ways, because even on Ghost Hunters, they had that one where they were talking to the princess in the princess room at forget what place, but she seemed to be talking at her own time, asking where they were, and they're asking about her. They're asking her about where she is, and she's like, "Well, where are you? I can't see you." And they actually felt that was more of a doorway in time, because
I've had
she seemed to be just having a regular day, but she could hear them, and she didn't know who they were or where they were.
I have recordings also, actually at OSPH, where you can hear these three men arguing about me and my wife. You can hear them saying, no, she's psychic, no, she's psychic. And then one of them pipes in and goes, no, they both are. And it's like they're having a conversation, like breaking the veil like we do sometimes. And we so happen to be being able to hear each other, like them having an SB on the other side like we do.
Right.
And so it's one of those, it's a very
curious. Do you think it's more of like the can in the string theory?
Yes.
Like two cans in a string.
Well, yes. Well,
I heard that being brought up in the paranormal, like
even if you go, oh God, see, I could go on for
Well, that's
days.
vibration. So you're talking about vibration.
Yes.
Vibrations pass through
And
time, space, everything.
if you go into
They
the whole
continue to go.
string theory and quantum physics and everything else, see, this is just a whole nother realm.
Yeah. Steve White did have a question. He says, are some psychiatrists familiar with demonic possession, or are they just calling it a mental illness? And the fact is, I do know about this. Some psychiatrists today are turning to the possibility of possession to answers for some of their cases, because the medications don't work.
Scans are normal.
Scans are normal. Everything else shows up normal. They can't identify a physical or medical reason for the person acting the way they do. And usually one of the tells of potential demonic possession is the medications for like schizophrenia or different types don't work. They don't work at all, and they should. There's no reason they shouldn't. And they don't. They have no effect at all. So yeah, there is some psychiatrists who are actually turning towards possession as a possible reason for their people's problems. And the Vatican does run their program for that now, where psychiatrists and stuff can take these courses and learn more about the signs of possession and how to identify it and all that. So it is happening. Not all psychiatrists just jump to it all being mental illness anymore, but they do take that approach first. And there is some that still just do. They just won't look at the other possibility for any reason at all. But there is some that do.
I'll tell you this, my sister, or I have people in my family that I believe are stronger and more in tune with the paranormal than even myself. It's just not something that was ever really talked about. And them being stronger and being able to see these things and hear these things audibly. I'm not saying she's possessed or was ever possessed. It's just one of those things where if you don't know what it is, and you can break the veil and see the things that are around that not everybody else can see, and they're wanting to talk to you, and you don't know how to process it, she got put on a Molotov cocktail of medications, and I just don't think that she needed it, because I think it was if she would have had the paranormal in her life and know what it was and try to be able to handle it, right, I think that it would have been different. Now, am I saying that goes for everybody? No, because there are certain people that do need to be put on medications. I mean, there's times that people do have mental illness and that they should seek definite what is that here? Yes.
Oh, he was asking you. It was about 5 minutes ago.
I watched it, and it's just not wanting to fucking hang out.
So yeah, nothing was pulling on your hair. That was about 5 minutes ago.
But no, I don't think that everybody needs to put the fact that if they have mental illness or they're hearing voices or seeing things that I think they should go see somebody. Don't just go ahead and automatically go, it's a ghost, it's demonic, I'm possessed.
No, don't make that assumption.
Definitely, like, I firmly believe in shout out mental illness. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the help that you need. And if that doesn't work, I'm just saying that there's options. There's things that it could be and might be.
Right.
And
my good friend, right. And my good friend Kat Cooper out there says there's a specific list of symptoms that link to possession or mental illness. It's not so much a list of symptoms, Kat, as it is a list of tells. And you have to go down that list, and which is what Carly and I had to do this last case we had. You have to go through that list and try all these different things before you can even make a determination that somebody is potentially possessed. That's still potentially. And we did that. I mean, there is a list of specific things that happen to lead up to possession, and that may be what she's getting at. And one of the things that begins is oppression, but it actually starts with we believe it starts with obsession. You become obsessed with something, then you become depressed, and then becomes, what's the next one after that, Carly?
Depressed.
I think there's one even before that, but but basically, yes, there's obsession, depression, oppression, and there's something else. I know there's something else in between. And then it can lead to possession. If the person hasn't already taken their own life by then, it can lead to possession. So, because the point is for them to get you to take your own life. So they just want to make your life a living hell, miserable as possible.
Hey,
But
that's
obsession is the beginning.
No.
Obsession can be the beginning. And you have to go through those things, but there's different tests you can do, spiritual type tests you can do to test somebody to see if the reaction to different types of things. And that depends, again, on their religion and their religious background.
Infestation. Yep.
Infestation, yes. Yeah. That's between depression and oppression.
okay.
And submission. Submission is between oppression and possession.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Thank you, Barry and Jenny.
yet to deal with the demonic case, so I don't know. Well,
You don't really want to, trust me.
No.
Well, minus my own.
That's true.
And there's no help for you. I'm sorry. I've tried. I've tried. No, it's not true. You're not.
They
possessed.
are. They're messy and sad.
They can have a very positive ending.
They can,
but they don't always.
No.
Hey,
You know.
you know what? I'm a positive Polly, and I hope that everything turns out.
and that's why you have to have
Well,
faith
yes.
that
Yeah, I
it'll
mean,
have a
you know,
positive
but
outcome, because if you don't,
we're kind of talking about the case we were working on,
I'm
which
just-
turned out very well. I mean, it turned out
Yes.
very well. And matter of fact, she did just contact me a week ago asking us if we were available to come out for Christmas dinner. So
really, so she's doing good.
oh, they're still doing fine. Yeah, they're still doing
That's
good. So they have gone back to their faith. So that's a plus.
Yes.
That's what you need to do. After
faith
all
and
that.
therapy.
Yes.
That's one of the
Faith and
things.
therapy. Yes, it's two good combinations.
What people don't realize is we can provide people with the tools to
Mhm.
help them to get through certain things, but if they don't keep the work up, it's just like seeing like if I can give you the tools or so I can provide you with somebody that can give you the tools, but if you're not willing to step in and continue to do the work, it's not going to matter. You're going to have to continue to call us to come back and do a cleansing and do a this but
Right.
it's still not going to make a
Not
big
gonna-
difference if you don't do the work.
Right. And that's the whole thing into the victim mentality. Like some people just like being the victim, which, hey, that's their choice, you know? And that's the sad part about these cases, is that you want the best for these people and you want these people to heal and be okay and to move on in their life. But sometimes it's up to them in the end, you know? They have to help themselves. So, but you always have to have positive faith or else it's not going to work.
I told you, every time I have a case, what scares people more is when I tell them they have to be an active participant in resolving their haunting. That
Yep.
scares them more than having a haunting.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it's your choice.
They expect us to wave
No.
a wand and it be done like that. Doesn't
I'm going to
work
start creating a magic wand with like the little star with tinsel, made of tin, and just wave it around.
It doesn't.
Jennifer,
It's all better now. It's all better. There you go.
Jennifer
It's all good.
Kennedy actually put a comment that I actually experienced on a daily with
Oh,
with
okay.
these
Let me pull
things.
that up.
Um,
I saw that. Yeah. There's a form of demonic obsession in which the entity repeats obsessive, violent speech and thoughts to the victim. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, that's true.
There and Jack can kind of back me up on this.
That happens during possession.
to the
Yeah, exactly.
So wait,
Um,
the person's just an asshole to the other person? Is that what you said?
No, so they will feed you thoughts saying you're worthless, you're pathetic, you're
Oh.
nothing, you should die, just give up. There's nothing that you can do about it. No one's going to help you, no one loves you, everybody hates you, you're all
Mhm.
alone. That's my worst fear, is being alone because of these things. Because they kept telling me, you're alone. No one likes you. You're better off dead. No one would care. And they repeat it, so I listened to that for 10 years, and you have to learn to just ignore it and to believe in yourself. And it takes a lot of recovery time after that to get out of that thought process, because you listen to it so often that you actually are trained to think that.
Right.
So that is the huge thing, and you do have to work past that, and it's hard.
I commend anybody that's ever had to go through that, though, because I mean, seriously, that's kind of like dealing with any kind of a mental illness or drug
Mhm.
addiction or anything else. It's a day by day process or a day to day.
Yeah.
And they'll actually turn to having your close family and friends start saying that to you as well. Like, it won't just be thoughts and stuff. They will transform your relationships into being very toxic and abusive so that they start saying that to you as well.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, then there's that.
They're no joke. They're no joke. Like, it's not like it's worse than the movies. That's the thing about these cases, that it's so hard to kind of visualize because movies are very physical. It's very interactive. A good portion of these hauntings are mental and emotional and spiritual.
And don't they slowly infiltrate? Like, you don't know, like, by the time it's there, you're like, where did that come from, right?
You will never know you're possessed.
No.
It's very slowly working its way in, right?
Correct. That's why somebody who is truly possessed doesn't know they are.
Nope.
That's why when somebody calls me telling me I'm possessed by a demon, no, you're not. You would have no clue if you were.
You wouldn't say, look, okay, I'm possessed by a demon. I said, do I need to go to church? Do I need to go to check out?
No, if you go to church and you can't walk in, yeah, maybe a sign. Maybe a sign. If you go to walk into a church and you can't physically walk, you something keeping you, you may have something going on.
Oh no, I'm good on that one. I was actually just at a church the other day, so I'm good.
Oh, you're fine then. Yeah,
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
You're okay. You're not possessed.
You're not burnt,
I'll tell you that
so
much.
You're good.
You're no lightning, no nothing.
If you were possessed, you wouldn't be able to get out of the car. You probably wouldn't be able to drive into the parking lot.
No,
so,
I'm good.
That actually does happen.
Yeah.
People can't. They start to have fits when they even drive into the parking lot.
No, I've gone into
complete mental breaks.
That I've dealt with some negative stuff that after a minute I have to walk out and cannot go back in. But no, I've never been able to. I'm good. I'm good on churches and I'm good on cemeteries. Yes, I win.
And Steve said we just answered one of his questions for him, so that's good. He did have another question though, something about unrelated to possession stuff. Where was it? Oh, about telekinesis. I'll throw this up there. Is telekinesis a possible cause of poltergeist activity?
Yes.
Can we cause our own hauntings? In other words, I guess if you have the ability for telekinesis, you could probably haunt yourself.
I firmly believe that we can, especially when you have teenagers that have any kind of abilities or any. I've seen it happen. I've had cases where family members have abilities and then they have two teenagers or preteens that are going through. And I've seen, I mean, and that's poltergeist. Like, they are causing their own, like, just chaos within the house. I've seen it happen. I'm not saying that's it all the time, but I believe that yes, telekinesis and that kind of situation can be their own poltergeist. Yeah, they can be their own haunting.
Yeah, and PJ is correct regarding back to the demonic stuff again, like Nazi mind control, same principles, repetitive reinforcement of fear, negativity. Yes, you're right. That's what demonics do. Yeah, mm-hmm. Which tells you what about the Nazis? Yeah, evil people, evil.
Yep. And Jennifer makes another good point, also telling you to harm other people. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You know, you'll feel better if you punch them. You know, even self-harm, you know, it's just constant, repetitive, constant, you know, never like limitless, you know, absolutely constant. You know, you'll feel better if you hurt them. You know, you could totally. That's what confuses me, or not intrigues, but kind of piques my interest with shootings, mass shootings. I think that there's some sort of link with that, because if you like, you'll feel better if you do this. Like, they convince you with the relentless obsessive speech, and I think that they definitely have a tie into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true with serial killers too.
Yep.
Yeah, but their own, like, narcissistic, sociopathic game.
That's the door. That's the doorway to opening to a possession.
Oh.
The mental illness is the weakness for the opening to that, for that to happen. I mean, there's a good show. There's a good podcast. Carly and I both listen to it, and it's called "Where the Bodies Are Buried," and it's on. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on iHeartRadio, pretty much any of the things. But it's interviews with serial killers. They talk to them right from the jails. And they talk to them, and they also talk about their killings and how they did it, but they talk to them about why they did it and what was the purpose and what types, because each does different types of killings. And there's more serial killers out there than just the ones we know about. And that's the interesting. These interview guys that we haven't heard of before. And these people have no remorse. They have no feeling for human life at all. I mean, which tells me there's something else there. And if you listen to them, you can almost hear it.
Yeah,
in them.
It's a lack of humanity.
It's not an individual talking. It's something else talking there, and they're just cruel for the sake of cruelty. Yeah. They kill for the sake of killing.
They literally will talk to you about killing someone.
There's no humanity behind them.
Telling you what they ordered for breakfast that morning.
Yeah, there's no humanity behind them at all.
And that's one of those things where, I am curious as to if we do we take that demonic, or are we just calling that demonic? And is it something that's just messed up in their brain, like their cerebral cortex or anything else? Like that's where I'm not denying that there are demonic hauntings and cases and things like that out there, but are we going to say that every serial killer across the board is like demonically possessed? Like that's.
I don't think every single one.
Well, it depends. I think some of these guys might be oppressed.
Okay.
I do think there's something. I would say in the case of serial killers, because there's not a ton of them out there. Okay, there's a limited number. Okay, so I would think and there's always some connection between the way they act or the way they react.
So you're saying it's pretty much like the same.
And they weren't always that way. Something happened during their life that changed them.
You're right. Or they all have a very similar backstory as to when they were kids. I don't remember when I was this all. And yes,
and they think, and a lot of their backgrounds, a lot of their upbringings were not normal. But when they talk to them, they say, "Oh yeah, I had a normal childhood." And they asked the guy, "Did he have a normal childhood?" He said, "No, his father was a murderer. He didn't have a normal childhood. He was beat every day.
Well, it was normal to him.
But it was normal to him because that's all he knew."
Yeah.
Mommy didn't love him.
To them, that was a normal childhood. It wasn't even close to normal, what we consider normal.
Yeah.
It was really messed up.
Well, but
to them, it was normal.
That's messed up. So who's really the possessed? Are they a product of environment though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, part of it's that, but my point is, there's a point where something else sees that opening and comes in. There's a point where I do believe something else steps in and pushes them in that direction. Because they'll a lot of them will talk about, I hear it all the time. I'm worthless. I'm this and that. Well, who's telling them that?
Yeah, because it's always been, yeah. I see what you're saying. I totally see what you're saying.
And they'll talk about different things like that that can indicate there was a possession. Some of them do have adversities to religious objects.
Mm-hmm. Well, that one case that we were supposed to go do that one time, I'm not going to divulge information. The research and stuff that I did on that definitely very much is coinciding with exactly what you're saying right now. But so I could see I see what you're saying is what I'm saying. I don't want to divulge that case's information. Yeah, I see it. I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah. So there's something that can step in at some point and say, hey, here's a weak link. I could use this not just to destroy this person, but destroy other persons.
Everybody else around them. Yeah. And that's what,
because they're destroying other people's lives. And what does a demonic really want to do? Well, they want to destroy people's lives.
Oh, it took out everybody around her. And the whole family and continued to
do that's the point of what they want to do. So if they can use an individual to do that, because they've destroyed that person's life in the end too, because that other person ends up in jail or they end up being killed by the police. Something always happens, So, and these guys will tell you, good thing I am where I am, because if you let me out, I'll do it again.
And you know what? It's very strange how they can pick their victims out.
Oh, they can tell.
They can literally look at you and say, you're a prime victim.
Yeah. It makes me curious as if they look at other people around them too, and they say they want one and go in for the weaker link around that one just to get to the other ones. Have you ever thought about that?
Well, yeah, they do look for the weakest link. I mean, they do, these serial killers look for somebody who is not trying to stand out, who's trying to disappear into the background.
I've had a lot
and those are the ones they go after. Because if you're standing out, you're not just drawing attention to yourself, you're drawing attention to them.
Yep.
They don't want the attention.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, okay,
so when you stand out, you think by trying to like hide and be, you know, indiscreet, you're actually making yourself more attractive as a victim.
Yep.
Rather than being loud and looking up and looking at everybody around you and making sure people recognize you. Those are the ones they don't want.
Then I'm definitely not.
Somebody will see them. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, but she stands there with her head down on her phone, and people don't notice her. Nope. So it makes her easy.
I won't lie. I'm pretty sure we actually came across one of those serial killer truckers.
Shut up.
One guy was a trucker. One serial killer they interviewed was a trucker.
And I got lucky.
He goes, "There's more of us out there than you know."
It was a whole thing. Did you see the documentary? Like that was scary. Yeah.
Well, we were at a truck right there. Well, we were at a truck stop right next to a police, like a sheriff station on the highway.
It was a rest stop.
Yeah, it was a rest stop. Yeah. I call it truck stops just because trucks are everywhere all the time.
Yeah, but there's cars and families and everything else there.
I was waiting for Jack to get out of the bathroom and to like get back into the car, and I left my keys in the car. Rule number 1, broken. Don't leave your keys in the car. 2, I was on my phone because I figured he was going to be quick. Like I wasn't really paying attention to what was around me. Broke rule number 2. And this trucker with a headset came on, and he was like, "It's really loud here, isn't it?" And I'm like, but I knew he was talking to me even though I didn't have my head down. So it was very strange. Like there were people around us, but like I knew he was talking to me. It was really weird. And I look and I go, yeah. And I kind of slunk. Broke rule number 3. Don't hide. You need to look for somebody. And he goes, like, there's a lot of cars here, isn't there? Or there's a lot of people, like it's very busy. Or what, something like that. Like you wouldn't notice me. You wouldn't notice me if I was.
No, Carly, what was wrong with you? Why didn't you run?
And I put my back up against a pillar that was there because I was like, "Oh shit!" All my red flags went off, and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm in trouble. Like I think I'm actually in danger right now." So I put my back up against the wall to make sure no one could get behind me, and I was like kind of looking around, like looking for like a mom with kids because that's what I was told to look for. So. Tip for you guys. And this lady stepped in between us and gave this guy a nasty look, and he just and like disappeared, literally disappeared. Like I had no idea.
He had been seen. Somebody spotted him. They saw him.
Yeah.
So his face was recognized. Now he's got to leave.
So she stayed with me and then asked another family to stay with me until Jack came out of the bathroom. And I was like, and when we heard the thing, I was like, oh my god, I think that guy was one of them.
Well, apparently there's a lot. Bruh, if you ever put yourself in that situation again, Carly, I will have to snatch you.
And this was like on a highway that didn't have many rest stops.
Yeah. What I told her she should have said when he first said, "Very loud here, huh?" I would have said, "Not so loud they won't hear me scream."
Right?
And he probably would have walked away right then. Whoops, okay.
Well, I didn't know because I was like...
So I told her, anybody ever says something like that again, not so loud they won't hear me scream.
Yeah. But I can't tell you how
many... I will kill you where you stand. No, you just turn around and say, "I'll kill you where you stand." They'll leave you alone then, I promise.
Yeah, that's true. But I can count like on probably 2 hands how many times like these things have happened to me. Like I am a target. Like I am a prime target for these.
Make yourself not a target. When you're in a place like that, keep your head up, look around, pay attention to everything that's going on around you. Yeah. Don't make yourself an easy victim because they only look for the easy victims. That's all they look for. Because people, I guarantee you, even though all those people are around and walking past, they never noticed you, and you could disappear, and nobody will ever. Oh, I don't remember seeing anybody.
It's very true.
And what better place to do it to show off for the police is instead of, if not right in front of the state trooper barracks, which was right next door, right underneath their nose. That's what these guys do. They like to shove it to the cops. You know, perfect place to grab a victim. Right underneath the cops' noses.
Now I don't go to the bathroom at the rest stops anymore. I don't leave the car, and I always make sure to lock it. And I have my head on the
car. Carly, you can go. I will wait for you.
Right now. Like what?
Yeah.
No, wait.
Like make sure you bring your phone.
Yeah. I tell her, I said, you can go. I will wait outside the ladies' room for you. Then when you come out, then you can go back to the car and then I'll go. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Oh, honey. No more of that for you.
Well, it happened to me on my way to work too. So like this shit, like
I'm gonna need you to stop being so adorable and for people wanting to take you. Just stop.
and all this guy saw me was walking my car to go to work. Like seriously, I was like, what the hell?
Listen, just start sneezing and coughing and say, yeah, it's COVID, and with no mask on. I guarantee you.
Came back from China. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Well, people, I hate to tell you, but we're actually a half hour past our time. So for tonight, Candace, you can hang around if you want, but we're going to end our show for tonight. Thank you all for stopping in and listening. Thank you, Candace, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Love you. We love you.
No,
And thanks everybody out there, Kat Cooper, Barry Martz, all of you, the whole bunch of you out there. Thanks for tuning in again. And we'll be back again next Tuesday with more. So join us then. Thanks, everybody. You all have a good night. Love you all.
Bob, buy a fart machine, Carly. That'll keep them away.
There you go. That's a good way to end the show. Oh, and if you are looking for any other books or anything else, you can find them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. Just put in my name. You search for my name, Jack Kenna. They'll all show up. All right. There's a loose. Any last selfless plugs for you, Candace?
I love everybody. ICU Paranormal, R&R, Old South Pittsburgh Haunted Hospital, PRC. So y'all look me up. I'm
on Facebook.
My middle
on Facebook.
Never a dull moment.
Follow us on Facebook. ICU Paranormal. Look them up. Follow us on Facebook.
Yep.
All right. Good night, everybody.